Welcome to my temple. You're entering the Temple of Consciousness, and my name is Ava. I'm going to be your spiritual guide. I was thinking, meditating upon the beautiful relationship between astrology and the tarot. And so I wanted to give a little talk about that sacred relationship. As you know, on this channel, I offer both astrology and the tarot as a means of divination and self-discovery. There are many correlates, conduits, between the symbolism in astrology and the symbolism in the tarot. To begin, what I think I should do is discuss where these philosophies came from and what their general meaning is. Both astrology and the tarot are very ancient, and they come from a long lost civilization. And in that ancient world, mankind still had a very close and intimate relationship with nature, with Mother Nature. That relationship became the means by which he began to explore his own nature, his own reality. But he never lost his feeling of alliance with nature. Modern man, on the other hand, has divided himself against nature. In fact, he's taken on the role of conqueror of nature, i.e., science, technology, philosophy, and religion, religious doctrine, all attempting to understand and describe nature and mankind. And there's been a division that has been in place for many centuries. This division between nature and mankind. So astrology and the tarot have their origin in a more ancient perception of mankind, man, human consciousness, and material reality. There was consequently a deep reverence still upheld when examining the how nature played out. It was, in fact, understood that our essence, our spiritual essence, resided not only in the stars, but in every rock, every tree, every material thing had a core center that was of God, that was spiritual. And to make sense of himself and these feelings of unrealized power and potential that resided within mankind, he began to recognize that the outside world, the celestial dome above us, actually had a map of the human soul imprinted upon it, which was ever changing and evolving, but possessed principles and values that were a part of mankind's journey from ignorance to enlightenment, from darkness into light. Ancient man conceived of the 5 planets, the 5 major planets, and the 2 luminaries as a part of mankind's evolutionary aspects, qualities. They conceived of man as coming from spirit, pure, unadulterated, free to be himself. But in this spiritual realm, the freedom that he or she possessed was not earned. It was granted as a part of his nature. To earn wisdom and consequently freedom, mankind had to incarnate into the material world. And according to the ancients, this process of becoming human had to pass through various steps. And these steps were then correlated to the planets. The first step in the making of a human consciousness, of human awareness, was represented by the planet Saturn. Saturn, according to the ancients, also possessed sentience, God-given awareness. And that God-given awareness of Saturn wanted to impute into this new being, the human being, the quality of prudence, and of gravity, seriousness. And it bestowed upon man, gifted man, with abstract thinking in potential, in pure potential. He could take this in any direction. Again, it's the presentation of the possibility of using abstract thinking for good or for ill. The karmic lessons that only the earth plane, the material plane, can offer us. So Saturn represents this abstractification of the mind, where you can see things in their ideal state and work from that ideal, developing prudence and seriousness as you take on the task of building concept, abstract concept. This is what Saturn really represents. It's not malefic. It's not evil. It can become evil. It can become malefic if that abstract mind goes astray and abstractifies life to the point where only the abstract is real. So that is your first introduction, mankind's first introduction to creating human consciousness. Then the consciousness of man moves on into the realm of Jupiter. And remember, the ancients felt that each of these planets, symbols, were sentient, awake, conscious. And Jupiter, the god of Jupiter, represented reason. It represented the organization of the abstract mind. The implementation of internal mental order, which is reason. And reason spawns philosophy. It spawns ideation, where you now can have systems of ideas. That's why Jupiter represents learning, broadening the horizons of your mind. Again, it's not malefic, and it isn't even totally beneficial. It's thought of as the beneficial planet. But ideas, concepts, can come back to bite you. And you can get lost in systematization of concepts, where you are literally in this labyrinth, where you've lost your reason. You've lost your common sense. And when you have your reason, when you can see the natural order of the universe, then a peace falls over you, and you are benefited. Then human consciousness graduated into the sphere, or shall we say the realm, of Mars. And the god of Mars wanted to bestow upon the human mind, the human spirit, the attribute of courage. Of courage. So that man would be able to withstand the trials and tribulations of life. That he would have the courage to implement his reason that he gained when he was in the Jupiterian realm. So at the juncture of Mars, he gained the ambition, the courage, the determination to take action, to implement his ideas, to put into material reality that which was immaterial in the realm of Saturn and in the realm of Jupiter. Now, at Mars, the abstract is made concrete through action, through will, through determination. This is what Mars represents. And again, all of these attributes have a positive and a negative consequence. If action is not coupled with reason, then it can go astray and become aggressive, arrogant, forceful. Action must take place without force, without forcing the other, or without forcing yourself, but out of simply the natural need to act. So Mars has come to also represent war, argument, disagreement, anger. That's the dark side of the consequences of these gifts, these attributes that these gods have bestowed upon the human soul. Then we move into the first luminary, which is the sun. The sun represents pure energy, the breath of life. This is where, literally, the human consciousness takes material form. Even though in other interpretations of Saturnian, Jupiterian, and Martian energy, they can be applied to the human soul, or as is already in existence. But in the evolution, the step-by-step evolution of the human being, it's only when the human being reaches the sun that he becomes a separate individual entity with a material body, sensual body, where the inner light can radiate out and illuminate the world. Energy is absolutely necessary for action. For you can have the will to act, but you need the energy to act also. So the sun represents pure, unfettered energy. Now, the negative side of the sun's energy is energy that's dissipated, that's wasted on the trivial, on the useless, on that which actually causes harm to another or to oneself. The evolutionary lesson is to use your energy with reverence for that energy, and to direct it so that you don't harm another nor yourself. This is the sun's gift to us. Now remember, don't take these things literally. Don't become one of those who actually thinks that there are separate gods conducting business like this. This is all a metaphor for the nature of human consciousness, and must be thought of that way, because we can get lost and think of these planets as being monsters or as divine beneficiaries, which in a way they are, but those benefits are within us to be unlocked, to be discovered. So we are at the sun. And right after that, we move into the realm of Venus. And at this juncture, we are given the gift of beauty, of love, compassion, empathy, sympathy. The god of the realm of Venus is the closest to heaven, to the attributes of heaven. Spirit, pure spirit. And at this juncture, we are given the potential for self-sacrifice, of giving without expecting anything in return, of loving simply for the joy of loving. And when this realm becomes negative, love turns to hate. Because we feel deprived of love in some way. When we are not provided the warmth and comfort of love, because the earth realm, again, is about challenge, testing these human attributes. Love can turn into bitterness, resentment, hatred, envy. So it is, again, the challenge of the human spirit to take these attributes and to turn them into gold from their lower base metal potentials, to make golden what is already within you, to bring it out of you, and to allow you to feel genuine joy in simply loving for the sheer sake of loving and not expecting anything in return. Then, after that beautiful lesson, we move into the realm of Mercury. Mercury is the mind, is the hands, which is an extension of the mind. That's why we do mudras. It's about skills, about being able to fashion the world according to what is in your mind, to transform the world with your mind, with your hands, to build, to create. So therefore, all the sciences, technologies, architectures are a consequence of this incredible gift given by Mercury. Again, metaphorically. Of course, without the other positive attributes of reason, love, compassion, these skills can be perverted and used to destroy, as science proves most eminently. The multitude of talents and skills that a human being possesses is really, you can't even count. Again, where you can be led astray is if your principles, your values, have not been tested yet, have not been honed and developed yet. So you can be the smartest scientist, very innovative, but what you invent is determined by first principles, your deepest values. Otherwise, the power of the mind can destroy the world, can destroy society, civilization. And this is what we're living through right now. The overwhelming power of Mercury. So we have to conquer the task, the challenge of Mercury by imputing, by infusing our skills and talents with higher purpose, higher meaning. And finally, we move into the realm of the moon, the lesser luminary. The moon represents imagination. The god of the moon gifted mankind with imagination. And imagination is what fuels ideas, concepts, and beauty, and gives energy to all the other attributes of human consciousness. But when the imagination goes astray, when it isn't given that rudder, that value principle of goodness, it can stray into areas of delusion, illusion, psychosis, and every form of mental ailment. The imagination needs to also be controlled, driven towards a higher goal. So these are the steps, the evolutionary steps of consciousness as it enters in to this dimension of materiality. Now, what I'd like to do is end with a introduction to the next video. I don't want to go on too long on any single video for technical reasons. But the ancients then realized that for mankind to ascend into the darkness of the material world and to discover, uncover these gifts from the gods, that he would have to do something. He would have to act. And he saw that the sun moved in a cyclical pattern that started at the beginning of a year and ended at the end of a year. And he divided that time span into 12 segments. And each segment was assigned a certain task of consciousness so that he could pass from darkness into light. And each of these segments then were represented symbolically, starting with Aries and the signs of the zodiac, which occupied these segments, ending that cycle of enlightenment. The tarot also follows man's journey from darkness, from ignorance, from chaos into light, into enlightenment, wisdom, as the Fool moves through the 21 phases of the major arcana, the zodiac. The Fool is the soul, is the naked soul, which has been given these gifts by the gods, which is depicted by a fool, because a fool represents someone who doesn't know. He's got a little satchel on the back that represents those gifts given by the gods, all laying in potential. So the journey described by astrology, the journey of the human soul through the 12 signs of the zodiac, is mirrored in tarot by the Fool's movement, ascension, development through the major arcana and the minor arcana as well. The minor arcana representing the nuances, the details of these major steps towards wisdom. Now, what I want to do is I want to present to you each sign's task, psychic, psychological, spiritual task to develop the human being to the point where he can become free again. Free in a different way than he was when he started the journey. This freedom is something that he himself earned, and so is so much more valuable in the scheme of possibilities of conscious development. It is one of the most valuable experiences for the soul, being here on the earth plane, meeting with challenges, meeting with difficulties, meeting with problems, and solving them by unleashing the gifts given to us by God. So in the next video, I'm going to go from Aries all the way through all the signs till I end with Pisces, giving you a sense of what these signs represent in the evolution of the human spirit. So wait for that, and thank you. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and thank you for supporting in whatever way you can. Namaste.